Hello everybody, my name is Nicholas Walker and this is CorrectiveFeedback.com. This is my latest web development project and it's designed to help ESL teachers correct more, better and faster than ever before. It can check for errors, check vocabulary, search for target structures, correct pronunciation errors, leave detailed comments and deploy rubrics. The list goes on and there are more features on the way. In short, it's awesome, and I believe that corrective feedback is the ultimate power tool for ESL teachers. Skeptics will say that only an experienced teacher can give the kind of quality feedback that students need, and I agree. There are times when a teacher's quick eye will catch something that a machine cannot. Certainly teachers can focus their feedback better than a machine can, but I like to explain it this way. There are times where you want to pull your child's t-shirt out of the laundry pile to rub some detergent on it so the stain doesn't set, but then you return the t-shirt back to the pile of laundry and throw it in the machine on the heavy-duty cycle and go off and cook dinner. There are aspects to life, there are aspects to every profession where a power tool can assist us to do more and to do a better job than we could if we were to do everything by hand. And I believe teachers can resist the use of power tools, but like every other profession, we will eventually integrate power tools into every aspect of our jobs. So there are times when teachers definitely should use power tools. For example, if you have if your 150 students have to wait 2 weeks for feedback on their errors because you refuse to use power tools on principle, well, that's a problem. If you're not checking your students' use of target structures taught in your course because it takes too long to count the number and range of adverbs of frequency from week 3, irregular past tense verbs from week 5, synonyms of the word said in week 7, and the number of cohesion building transition phrases from week 8, and of course the use of field related vocabulary they've been learning all semester because it takes too long, well, that's a problem. If after correcting half the pile of writing assignments, your comments are starting to sound like tersely worded voice of authority autopsy reports, well, that's a problem. If you just don't have time to catch and correct pronunciation errors on speaking tasks because there just isn't enough time in class, well, that's also a problem. CorrectiveFeedback.com provides a solution to all of these problems. And if you're just checking a student's text for surface errors, corrective feedback can process a text in seconds, a text that would take you minutes to go through and correct. So, after a little setup, you can correct 28 errors, provide links to 18 remedial practice activities, leave a 70-word comment, and return your feedback to your student by email in less than a minute and a half. 90 seconds per student times 150 students is 3 hours and 45 minutes. That's less than 4 hours of corrective feedback work on top of your usual 15 hours of classroom teaching and 10 hours of preparation time. It's doable, especially in light of the 150 personalized instant curricula the system generates. It is important that students integrate the grammar and vocabulary they study in class into their writing. You wouldn't expect them to integrate every structure and every vocabulary item into their texts, but it's reasonable to expect some of the language you present and they practice to appear in the texts they produce. If over the course of a semester you study 15 adverbs of frequency, a list of 300 past tense verbs, a thesaurus entry with 257 alternatives to the word said, and online exercises with 222 transition words, that's already 779 items teachers would have to remember to search for while reading a student's text. That's if we were to use a positive corrective feedback method where we celebrate students' successes instead of just noting their failures. Add to that number the tens of thousands of vocabulary items in 40 or more fields of study for students in B Block CEGEP ESL classes. The task is not just difficult, it is probably impossible. However, CorrectiveFeedback.com makes it not only possible, but practical to notice and reward achievement. I have to say that in the past I have noticed that my comments in the margins of students writing assignments are, well, mean. I pride myself on being a compassionate person with a somewhat sunny disposition. I wish to be firm but fair, and yet when I read over the tersely worded comments scrawled in the margins of my students' papers, I see things like awkward, unclear, rewrite, and needs development. It sounds like I'm describing my own commenting style. The issue here is that no matter how good our intentions, we adopt the voice of authority that sounds like we're giving an autopsy on a student's assignment. Your writing died on the page and here's why. That sort of thing. This sends the wrong message. We should instead be dramatizing the presence of the reader to the student, showing him or her what we experience when we read the text and signaling that, as imperfect as it may be, it's worthy of revision and taking into the next draft. To do that, we must maintain the voice of the reader, showing students where we stumble when we read, where we get lost, and how our experience of the text is not what was intended. To do that, we have to compose our comments when we are rested and happy. Storing them in graded categories and selecting one during the feedback process, we can then always say what we actually mean instead of being mean when we say what we say. Imagine that you ask your students to tell a story about a trip to Miami, employing certain target verbs. Look how easy it is to identify correct and incorrect pronunciation and supply models even if you have a cold or if you have an accent yourself.
Mike and Mary decided to go to Miami because of the advertisement they were watching on TV. They packed in their pack bag, sandals, shorts, t-shirt, and a swimsuit. Mike and Mary took the bus so they could go to the airport. Monday, they met with a couple from Toronto. After that, they bought some souvenirs. Tuesday, they ate pizza. Friday, they swam in the hotel swimming pool. And then they slept on the deck chair. They packed in their pack bag.
Packed.
In conclusion, there are a number of advantages to using CorrectiveFeedback.com. Whether you use the system to save time while checking for common errors, to search for target structures in obligatory contexts, to dramatize the presence of the reader through voice of the reader commenting, or to check, score, and model pronunciation, CorrectiveFeedback.com offers a range of useful tools that ESL teachers should find quick and easy and pedagogically sound. Now that you've seen some of what the system can do, I have a question for you. What is the most attractive feature you've seen so far? Thanks.